As I look at my calendar, today is Wednesday. We don't have any 50-year anniversaries or 60-year anniversaries, but it's Wednesday.
Thank
so
God,
how are
man.
you?
I'm good. I'm feeling a little exhausted from the frenetic pace of markets and whatnot.
Now watch what I do here. Watch how I tie this
You're
whole
always
thing together.
very
The
deft.
nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, headquartered in, I believe, Cleveland, Ohio, came out today. These food fighters or Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Food coloring. Yeah.
Devo is on the list, and I think
you know what? I never had
Warwick,
a lot of time for Devo. By the way, sorry. Keep going.
No. I mean, Devo is no. I never.
I mean,
understood
I liked New
out.
Wave. I just didn't like Devo. I mean, I thought it was a little
awful.
dopey. The hats, those hats. You know.
Anyway. We Are Devo, Devo. It's just
Whip It's an annoying song. All right, so I keep going.
None of that is good. Also on the list, and you love to make fun of me, she happens to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame already as a songwriter, but Carole King is on the list as a performer. Now, you always make fun of me, say, because I say Tapestry is a top 5 album. You know, name one song on Tapestry. I mean, you're being abusive. And I'm going to name some songs.
I bet you can't. And as far as I'm concerned, Carole King is Janician, is
not even close. She's a first ballot Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer.
Okay.
On the album Tapestry, just so I'm gonna read you now. Watch how I tie this in. Okay.
Sure.
I Feel the Earth Move. First song. So Far Away. Second song. Beautiful, which is a song you know. You've Got a Friend. Where You Lead. Will You Love Me Tomorrow? You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. But what I didn't mention on this album, and this is where I'm going to
deep
you,
cuts,
Tim Seymour. I don't know, maybe the most commercial, the commercial hit on the album. And this is where I'm going to go to you, and I'm going to let you riff. It's Too Late is on that album. So Tim Seymour, on a day where Tilray is up, I don't even know, 40%. Is it too late to get into the cannabis space? Tim Seymour.
It's definitely not too late. It may be too late to get part of that 40% move or not, but that's not investing in cannabis anyway. Investing in Tilray has been investing in capital market shenanigans and hype, and I need to make it clear. It's not that Tilray is actively involved in shenanigans. I just think that this is a stock that, from its IPO on the NASDAQ in mid 2018, has been the center of the storm around some of the legislative issues and the capital markets, just headwinds that are allowing Canadian companies with an addressable market right now of, call them the 51st state. I mean, 1/50th. And those are actually numbers that are more or less in line with where I think the addressable market of the cannabis market will be by 2025. It's just not really a story. It was more a story about the Canadian companies that could list on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ get squeezed higher. So read me a couple more of those songs off that album, and I'll continue.
It's Too Late is the one, but the first song on the first
Far Away
song, first side is I Feel the Earth Move. The Earth.
I Feel the Earth Move. Let's talk about that.
I mean, it's moving. It's moving under your feet.
People questioned whether it was truly about the earth, whether it was about cultivation. And a lot of people said these companies could never be worth anything. Because think about this, folks. What agricultural companies do you know that are north of $5 billion or $10 billion that trade in the public markets? Crickets, right?
Crickets.
So the point is, you've got this isn't really an earth move dynamic. It's not about tilling and roto-tilling and cultivation. It's really about brands and distribution and packaging and ERG and logistics and the things that make every other consumer products group interesting, but more importantly, have a multiple. All right, so give me another song.
This is a good one for you. So given today's move in the stocks,
okay, thank you.
Will You Love Me Tomorrow?
Yeah, and that also sounds like, what's that song? Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?
That's it. That is that song.
Okay,
yes.
so I'm gonna not only still love you tomorrow, I'm gonna love you more, because I think tomorrow means wherever we continue to evolve to in terms of the overall legislative path, but also the perception change and the change also around use cases of what people consider to be medicine. And by the way, medicine for many people, is a can of beer at the end of the day. Medicine is possibly a bare aspirin that we walk into, or any number of OTC uses. So, I think that's so far away is really. Actually, we already did that. Sorry. Will you still love me tomorrow?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yes, the answer is we'll probably love you a little bit more. What's the most interesting thing about this sector in terms of tomorrow is that most big institutional investors are not even here. And most big institutional investors, who tend to be the ones that will be the flows that re-rate stocks, with all due respect to our Reddit friends, are still unable to invest in this sector for some of the reasons we've talked about, and just because I think a lot of them think that they have a mandate that would not allow them to invest in something that's federally illegal, even though that horse has left the barn, guy. Yeah, left the barn.
I like that. I'm more an Excedrin guy, by the way, on the aspirin front. So here you go. Here's another song. I want you to help us here. Where you lead. I mean, who is the leader here in the space? Where you lead.
Can you sing that song for me?
Where
can you sing it?
I will follow any. Yeah, I could sing it, but I'm not going to do that.
You've got a decent upper register. I would think that would work.
No, I do have a decent upper register, but you know the song. Where you lead, I will follow.
So
anywhere that you want me to, where you lead, so you need me to be with you.
Here's where I'll lead, and I hope you follow. But I recognize that everybody charts their own path. And to be clear, the word tapestry, of course, it implies, I think, a stitching together of
pastiche, a mosaic,
if I may. And I think we just did. So the tapestry that is being sewn together for the story is that there are a handful of big companies, not small companies, big at least relative to a couple of years ago, but call them $4 to $5 to $10 billion companies. I'm talking about Cureleaf. I'm talking about GTI or Green Thumb. I'm talking about Cresco Labs. I'm talking about TrueLeaf. I'm talking about TerraSend. I'm talking about AYR. There's big companies out there that people know of that are profitable, and they're profitable now. So where should you be, and where should you be following? I think you should be following leaders, but I think you should also understand that this industry is rapidly changing, and that the investments around them are going to continue to evolve. And that's why I think investors need to be very careful on days like today. And we talk about this all the time on Fast Money, but on Commercial Break, where we're having a cannabis-specific conversation, what's happening today, especially north of the border, to me is concerning. And look, I run an ETF. It's an actively managed strategy. And in that strategy, I actually take days like today to fade some of that FOMO.
I like that. Last one, I promise.
Okay.
You've got a friend. Do you have a friend in the cannabis space? Last question.
So, and I think when people talk about the friend in the cannabis space, they historically were talking about their guy, right? And everybody had a guy. Hey, you want to call it your guy? And guy, I'm not sure if you know what I mean by a guy, because I think you're out there having professed never to participate. So
never puffed the magic dragon.
But nope. but your friend going forward, and this is the most important investment dynamic, is a retail store that is either kind of cool and edgy and has some atmosphere and some ambiance, or the place that you walk in where there's consistency of product, where there's predictability of product, where there's actually a full range and there's a safe environment. That's your friend. That's your friend, rather than waiting out at some back alley or being involved in some place you'd rather not be. And by the way, also, one of the great things about the friend that is the cannabis industry is that the criminal justice and social justice dynamics of the industry, believe it or not, has a conscience. And I think that there's a lot of people that have unduly been punished for their exposure to cannabis over the years, especially when it was illegal. And I think there's a real rethink on that. So you've got a friend, Guy. And I
like what you did there.
You don't need friends. You got a lot of friends, pal. I mean, buddy.
Well, a friend buy a dog. So look, and you buddied me and pal me. So listen, what we just did here on Commercial Break, folks, is we went from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to Devo to the Food Fighters, which I've never heard a song from them. Do we have any time left? Carole King. Yeah. No, zero. To Tapestry to Cannabis in 9 minutes. Well done, Tim Seymour.
Guy, Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how Dave Grohl is not the first guy to be elected, or he's actually nominated with two different bands. But boy, isn't that an interesting topic to kind of delve into? People who have double dipped, if I may, on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Talk to you tomorrow.
Later.